Hi and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Great, we're having people logging on live with us. We have about 68 people already. Thank you so much for coming in. So what's great about a live broadcast is that we have the comment section. So if you'd like to comment where you're logging in from, either your location in your home, your location in the state of California via county, or whatever you'd like to share with us. If you watched me earlier, I'm in my home office hanging out with some pumpkins. My coworker, my dog, left. I don't think he's into being on the screen today, so he is out and about. Hopefully you can hear us. We'll be starting a live broadcast. Well, a live broadcast has started, but we'll be starting with everybody else joining us shortly. I have in the room with me Marcy Souza. She's our statewide volunteer engagement coordinator. I'm Lauren Snowden. I'm the statewide training coordinator for the UC Master Gardener program. Oh, great. We got some people commenting. We have Ann Shellman who said, looking forward to this. Great. Thank you, Ann, for joining us today. We have someone from Sutter, Yuba County. Guess what? That's where I'm from. This is amazing. La Mesa, San Diego County, Orange County. Marcy, would you like to chime in with where you're located today?
I'm joining you all from Napa County, and it looks like we have a few more folks logging on from the desert, from Palm Springs, from Santa Barbara, from Sky Valley, and another person from Napa. Hi.
I like it. We have Sonoma. This is great. So I would like to just say that we're on the Gardeners with Heart, our incredible volunteers doing incredible work. This is session 2 of our 9-session series of our 2020 virtual conference for the UC Master Gardener program. Typically this time of year, we'd be meeting in Tahoe for our conference, and we are unable to do that, so we took it online. So what's great about taking this online is that not only is it free, but it's open to everyone. So in this broadcast today, we're going to have UC Master Gardener volunteers and the public. So if you don't know about the UC Master Gardener program, you're going to learn a little bit more about it today. And if you're a UC Master Gardener volunteer, we just want to say thank you for joining us, whether you come live or you go ahead and join us via recording. Thank you for being interested in our program and being an active participant. We really do appreciate you. So on that note, that's kind of what this is about. This whole session here is about honoring our volunteers. So I'm Lauren Snowden. We have Marcy Souza joining us today. We're going to have Maggie O'Neill. She's the coordinator for the San Bernardino County volunteers. And we're going to have 3 volunteers from San Bernardino County as well. We also have Marcy Souza joining us from the San Joaquin Master Gardener program. She's the coordinator there. And we're going to have 2 of her volunteers as well joining us for our panel discussion. I see we have a lot of people logged on. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to pass it over to Marcy.
Thanks, Lauren. As Lauren mentioned, my name is Marcy Souza, and I am the Volunteer Engagement Coordinator for the UC Master Gardener statewide program. And we are delighted to have you joining us today, just as we're delighted to be building and sustaining this community of 6,000 volunteers and garden educators across the state of California. We're gathered today to celebrate the 2020 UC Master Gardener program's Gardeners with Heart. Who are the Gardeners with Heart? Gardeners with Heart are stellar volunteers identified by their county coordinators, county directors, or fellow volunteers who use creativity, strategic thinking, passion for program mission, and commitment to diversity to strengthen our program delivery. How did this volunteer recognition event come to be? In anticipation of National Volunteer Week, which takes place in April every year, the UC Master Gardener program launched the Gardeners with Heart nomination form to collect and celebrate the impact of our volunteers. While we already have statewide recognition for hours and years contributed, we really wanted this effort to be focused on the outcomes and inclusive of amazing volunteers regardless of their hours or years with the program. During National Volunteer Week, we received so many incredible stories of these amazing volunteers, and we shared some of them on our statewide blog and social media. But as nominations kept rolling in, we knew that we needed a space to share more of these stories of special volunteers or gardeners with heart from across the state. Today, at the end of this presentation, we'll be launching a very special treat, which will feature photos and quotes from or about each of our over 50 actually at this point, Gardeners with Heart. And later in this event, you're going to hear from a few Gardeners with Heart and their nominating coordinators. So thank you, Lauren, for giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about why we thought it was important to establish this program and to really personalize this volunteer recognition effort and to get a chance to hear from those people who really make our program come to life. And if you'll go to the next slide, I mentioned that our UC Master Gardener coordinators and Gardeners with Heart, we're really committed to our program mission. So it's important to kind of contextualize that statement. What is our program mission? Our mission is to extend research-based knowledge and information on home horticulture, pest management, and sustainable landscaping practices to the residents of California, and to be guided by our core values and strategic initiatives. And you can learn more about this information, our core values, our strategic initiatives, by finding us online at mg.ucanr.edu. And check out our blogs. We'll be dropping some blog links into the chat if you're interested in kind of doing some reading about Gardeners with Heart and some of the features that we put together during April of 2020 during National Volunteer Week. If you're interested in becoming a UC Master Gardener, you can also learn about joining and finding your local program on that very same website. So thank you, Lauren, and thank you to all of our Gardeners with Heart, whether you're here with us today or you're joining from a recording. We really appreciate all that you do to help us extend information and knowledge and promote gardening within California.
Great. Thank you, Marissa. Really appreciate your comments. You guys, they did just flood in. These nominees just kept coming in. This is the first page of over 50 nominees that came in. Marissa mentioned we have a special treat for you at the end, so I won't ruin it, but you will see these names again and some faces that are going with it. So we're very happy to have all the nominations come in and all the work that coordinators and boards and presidents put into actually taking the time to write about their stellar volunteers. It's not just having the opportunity, it's taking the time, knowing the people in your group. It takes a lot of effort on everyone's part to keep a volunteer program going. And it really is that commitment to our mission, to our program, to being part of something bigger than yourself. One of the things that I really like to say about Master Gardeners is that they love gardening so much that they just want to talk about it with anybody. Like getting in a room with fellow Master Gardeners, you just feel okay about talking about weird things like, my plant died. What plants are you into? What are you doing right now? Oh my gosh, did you see that bug? So just so you know, all of these nominees are probably plant weirdos. We're all okay with it, and we're all in good company with each other. We like it a lot. All right, Marissa, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and remove Marissa from the screen, and I'm going to welcome Maggie O'Neill. She is from San Bernardino County. She is our coordinator down there, and she is working from home. And Maggie, let me unmute you. One more time, unmute mic. There we go. Maggie, what grades do you have being taught in your house right now or learned? Like you have some home learners. So what grades are you in?
Yeah, right now we have our home academy, and we have a 7th grader who's pretty sure he has other things better to do. And we have a 6th grader who thinks that this is awesome because she doesn't have to go to school, but she still learns. And then we have 2 cats who terrorize the neighborhood during school hours and then promptly fall asleep.
Nice. It sounds like you have great coworkers. So we appreciate you coming online today and taking that bandwidth and joining us from your home. So Maggie, I'd like to pass it over to you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Lauren and Marissa, for having us join you today. And thank you, guys, for creating this Gardeners with Heart Award. I want to thank all of the statewide Master Gardeners, but also our San Bernardino County Master Gardeners. They're people with big hearts and a big passion to share what they love and know best about gardening. They want to empower the community. And we have about 160 Master Gardeners in our county. And I just want to say how much I appreciate all of their contributions. Some people are able to volunteer a lot, and some people are able to volunteer a little bit. Some people they're behind the scenes, and some people are in front, facing the public and doing presentations, and all of their commitments and their efforts are so appreciated. So I'm going to start today with Debbie. And Debbie began her journey with the program. She started the class in 2018, and she's so passionate about sharing gardening with the public. She does a lot of work behind the scenes. There's so many things that go into keeping a Master Gardener program running, and you have that public-facing side, but there is Excel spreadsheets and our volunteer management system and all of these different things, our social media pages, and she does so much to keep those things going. And she really has, one of the things I really appreciate about Debbie is that she has a keen understanding of how important it is to teach the next generation about gardening. Many of us who are over 40, we learn from our grandparents about gardening, but as generations go on, people are not learning that. So she really makes it one of her missions and focuses to teach youth about how to sow a seed, how to take care of the soil, how to harvest, and how to plant. So I really appreciate all that Debbie does. She's a marvelous gardener with heart. And our next gardeners. And Jillian and Adam joined the program several years ago, and they're a dynamic duo. Jillian and Adam, they're two sides of the coin, yin and yang. They're such perfect complements for each other. They occasionally take turns keeping each other in line, and they're a fabulous Master Gardener team. We started a seed library several years ago, and they just dove right in and really understood the importance of seed saving and all that it contributes to our community. They've taught classes on soil preparation, keeping the soil healthy, but they've also really engaged at a local level to make sort of a multi-layer interaction where they do presentations, they have hands-on activities, they have the seed library that they're going to tell you guys more about. And so they just really took their home community and were able to enrich it on many different levels. And it's been so exciting to watch them grow as Master Gardeners. It's been fabulous. I remember when I first started presenting, I was so nervous to present, and I knew what I wanted to say, but it was like, how is it going to come out? Am I going to forget everything that I ever was planning to say? And it's been so wonderful to see Adam and Jillian's passions sort of shine through and to watch them grow as Master Gardeners. And now they're engaging at different levels with their own community, with the city, with all different levels of gardening in their community. So they've really had an amazing impact on their home community, both with the seed library they're presenting and all the other activities they do. So we really appreciate them so much. And then we have two Master Gardeners. We have another couple, and then we have another woman who aren't able to join us today, but I still sort of want to highlight what they offer to the community and how they contribute. There's Bob and Sharon Yoakum, and Bob and Sharon Bob is a longtime Master Gardener. Before I became a Master Gardener, he had already been a Master Gardener for many years. And finally, last year, we were able to rope in his wife, Sharon. She couldn't resist. We were having too much fun. And so Sharon just graduated. And Bob has a real heart for the community as well. And he works with a college, Crafton Hills College. And he saw a need in San Bernardino County. We have a lot of food insecurity. There's a lot of food deserts, and there's a lot of people who are just barely making it by. And you don't really think about college students. We always joke about them eating ramen. But for the college students, there were so many college students who were food insecure. So one of the professors at the college offered for them to start working in a garden and have that garden provide produce to the college students so that they could kind of like a food bank for the college students. But Sharon and Bob was working officially as a Master Gardener, and Sharon was his right-hand lady. And they thought, you know what, that's not enough to just give them the produce. We want to teach them how to grow. And so they took this community garden and engaged with the students who were getting this produce, engaged with the students. And it's an amazing garden because it's on a hillside. There's all kinds of pests, and they've come up with innovative pest management techniques, and really put their heart and soul into creating these generations of college students who it's so amazing because they went from being food insecure to then graduating college, not only not having to worry about where their vegetables were going to come from, but also knowing how to grow it themselves and knowing how to grow in small spaces, which is so important. So Sharon, and then Sharon is a wonderful photographer, so she's been documenting the whole thing. So Sharon and Bob, just fabulous master gardeners, and they really, just like all of our master gardeners on today, exemplify what a master gardener with heart, or a gardener with heart, is. And then last, but definitely not least, is Esther. And Esther started the program a couple of years ago, and she had a long history of volunteering with local agencies, and she worked with at-risk youth. And when you start a Master Gardener program, you always wonder, how am I going to volunteer? Am I going to be driving to events that are already scheduled? Am I going to be doing activities that are already in line? And one of the things we like to do is encourage people to volunteer locally within their own community. And so Esther really, just like all of our other Master Gardeners on today, really sort of looked at the situation and saw that her local community of Chino had a community garden that was really neglected, and there was very little structure. And so she wanted to volunteer close to home. And so she started working with the community garden. They have now adult and youth classes that they teach. So she teaches monthly classes, but she also works with the Healthy Cities Initiative in Chino. So she works on several different levels with the city, with community organizations, and volunteers, and makes Chino a better place. So Esther is another fabulous gardener with heart. And these are just a few of our gardeners with heart, all working together. And our goal is to uplift and empower our county's residents by teaching them about sustainable landscaping, growing food, and better living through gardening. And if you're interested in becoming a master gardener and not a gardener or a master gardener already, I really encourage you to join, because it's such a wonderful way to take your passions. Like Lauren said, you have all kinds of crazy plant things that you want to talk to, and who are you going to talk to people about that? And you can not only find a community of like-minded plant weirdos, you can also make a difference in your community. And I've been with the program as a volunteer and then a coordinator for about 4 years. And I've seen big changes in the communities where we've had our outreach. And so it's a really rewarding program, and I really enjoy it so much. And for Esther and Jillian and Adam and Bob and Sharon and Debbie, we really appreciate you so much. So thank you.
Thank you, Maggie, for sharing your guys' story. If you haven't picked it up already, we've got education going on everywhere. So hopefully those of you who are not volunteers can connect with your local program, and you can get in on all this fun. I don't want anybody to miss out. Maggie, thanks for taking the time to not only meet with us, but nominate and know your volunteers. We do understand that everyone loves their volunteers equally, and it's hard to choose who to feature or who to bring up, but we just want to say thank you for being one of the counties that took the opportunity today to join us. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead, remove Maggie from the screen, and we are going to move on to San Joaquin County. I am happy to bring into the room with me the coordinator, Marcy Souza. Hi, Marcy, the double hand wave, which I love to do for some reason. Welcome. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining everybody from my office a la bedroom right now. Okay. My kids are currently in school out in the living room, so I've locked myself in my bedroom, which is my makeshift office for today.
Great. Hopefully everyone's learning, or maybe there's some video gaming going on. We'll find out after this live stream is over, huh?
They're quiet, so that's all that I care about right now.
There you go. That's all we can ask for. All right, Marcy, I'm going to pass it over to you to talk about your volunteers from San Joaquin County.
Okay, well, like Maggie said, we have so many amazing volunteers in San Joaquin County. It's really hard to pick just a few to nominate for this Gardeners with Heart opportunity. And let me I turned everything off, but okay. Sorry about that. So if I could nominate all of our volunteers for this award, I would. They're all fabulous. They're all amazing. they all bring something to the program. It takes all those backgrounds, all those experiences to make our program what it is, to make it absolutely amazing. And without each and every one of them, we wouldn't be what we are. I love their enthusiasm, all of their dedication. And so today we're going to talk about just a select few of amazing volunteers that I have in San Joaquin County. Steve Sanguinetti is the first one, and Steve joined us in 2007. He is a wealth of gardening information, especially when it comes to irrigation systems and things, hands-on projects out in the garden. If we need a hole or 2 or 3 dug, Steve is always there with shovel in hand, like you can see in the picture, and is willing to do whatever it takes. He fixes broken irrigation lines. He teaches master gardeners how to operate not only our demonstration garden irrigation controller, but we'll teach classes to the public on operating and setting and managing different irrigation controllers so that people are comfortable, because that's a topic that often people just get overwhelmed with, is drip irrigation systems and how do I set my timer, and scheduling watering sessions and things like that. So he teaches the public. He loves having hands-on controllers at classes. And then he also teaches, like I said, our Master Gardener volunteers, just so they're more comfortable to not only work their own irrigation systems, but to teach the public, when we have our water conservation classes or our turf management classes. So one of our amazing volunteers for hands-on projects out in the garden. Next, we have Pat. Pat is amazing. There's so many things and so many projects that I could talk about that Pat is involved with, because she's just one of those master gardeners that does so much for our program. But one of the things that I wanted to focus on today is Pat's organizational skills. She is super organized and has brought those skills to our program to help keep our program organized and in a working order. It's easy to find things. We know what we have available. So one of the projects that she's worked on is our Master Gardener Helpline office, like we've talked about today. We do have books in the office that are available for Master Gardeners to check out, to borrow. Maybe they're working on a project or a PowerPoint and they need one of the books that we have on pollinators or something like that. So Pat went through our library that I had originally organized by topic. So I kind of clumped all the pollinators together, all the turf topics together. Well, Pat and her background, she came in and just revamped our whole system. So everything is now in Dewey Decimal order with the labels on the spines of the books, and has this thorough system that we can, keep it all organized, know where the books should be, know what's missing, and it makes it available and easy for Master Gardeners to borrow books. She's also helped keep all of our quizzes and final exam scores for training organized. And so she has this extensive Google sheet, and we know where everybody's at as far as their scores, how they're doing in the training, if anybody needs help. So she keeps me in the loop on, Master Gardeners that maybe are struggling with some of the quizzes or exams that we're having in the program. But, I could walk up to her today and ask her, what does John have on his quizzes for this training session? She can give me weekly as well as an accumulative grade point average, basically on how the person's doing. She has helped organize our display board project that she also helped come up with. So we have these trifold display boards that are great to take to our farmers markets, our community events, and those are all numerically ordered with a binder that matches, with handouts that would go with the board. And so she's done all this, and she's made all of our lives so much easier by just her organizational skills. Last but not least, Pat does have a teaching background, so she loves to teach people, kids and adults. And one of her favorite topics to teach people about are her kids, air quote kids, on vermicomposting. She dresses the kids up when we need to borrow worms. We take Pat's worms, and we take them out on a road show and bring them back. And she loves teaching people about vermicomposting. So not only is she organized, but she's a great Master Gardener to have to extend our message to the public. All right, and next I believe we have Linda. We do have Linda. So Linda loves teaching. She is another one of our, she's retired, but she still substitute teaches, and she just loves educating people on sustainable gardening topics and topics that we present in our community. And so Linda really enjoys giving presentations when she can have a hands-on object or something that people can see. So when she teaches a water class, she'll bring in milk jugs to show how much water we're actually talking about, to give people a visual. And that's something that people really appreciate, is having that visual to see what you're talking about. We don't just talk about native plants. Linda, will bring in plant samples. She's constantly saving her cat food cans to give out at classes when we're talking about doing lawn irrigation audits. And then everyone that attends the class can take home cans, to do a catch can test. So one of the things, that goes along with her passion for teaching and public speaking is making sure that our Master Gardener volunteers are also comfortable and prepared. So she has organized mock presentations, basically, where she'll get together either a newly graduated class of volunteers, where we've got some people that might be interested in presenting and teaching, or maybe some veteran Master Gardeners that have been around for a few years and they've seen what other volunteers have done, and they've got a topic that they're interested in teaching about, and they want to get involved in our Speakers Bureau that Linda also chairs. So that's another one of her areas. But Linda will pull them together. She'll review their PowerPoint just to see if it's, how it looks, design, photos, if it's too wordy or not, wordy enough. And then she'll sit with these volunteers and do, a small group, 4 or 5 maybe, volunteers, where they practice presenting, and she'll give her critique on, what can be approved, what they're doing great at, to make them a stronger presenter so that they feel comfortable. They know how to set up the equipment, when they leave. And so they're prepared to go out and give presentations on behalf of our program. And that's all thanks to Linda and her dedication to building, these powerful speakers that we have in our program. Next, we have Lee. So Lee Miller is another one of our 2007 graduates, the first year that our program started. And he loves teaching as well. I think Lee is our most requested speaker. So garden clubs will actually call me and ask for Lee, and we'll ask for specific topics because Lee has such a broad background of topics that he covers. He grows over 40 different varieties, or has grown over 40 different varieties of tomatoes in his home garden. He knows, all about growing fruit trees and pruning, ornamentals, tool sharpening, as you can see that he's doing in this picture. So Lee loves teaching to the public as well as his fellow Master Gardener volunteers. So he'll provide continuing education opportunities, maybe hands-on fruit tree pruning classes. He's given tool sharpening classes to Master Gardener volunteers, which also benefit our program, because then we could put those volunteers out in our tool sharpening booth at our open garden day, because they all knew how to sharpen tools. But he's just a wealth of knowledge and is always willing, if I have a speaker that can't speak, they get sick, or maybe I just haven't filled a particular spot, and Linda and I can't find a speaker to do it. If we call Lee, we know that he'll be there as long as he doesn't have other plans. Lee will fill in the gap on whatever topic that we ask him to do. And last but not least, we have Sharon. So Sharon came in super gung-ho. She is just a go-getter. She's full of fire. She just, what can we do? What can I do? What new projects can we come up with? But one of the great things about Sharon is she doesn't just come up with the new project, she follows through with the project, which is awesome, because we get lots of great ideas in the Master Gardener program, but then sometimes they fizzle if there's not volunteers to follow through, with those projects. And Sharon is just amazing at keeping that ball going, really improving our program. And so she would constantly brainstorm ideas on how can we make things better? How can we get more in attendance at our library workshops? And so for one example, one of our library classes, we couldn't get an audience. And with Sharon's drive, along with another Master Gardener, they kind of tag teamed. with their advertising. They were persistent. They, went above and beyond. We increased our classes. I mean, we had dropped down to like 10 people where I was considering stopping the classes, and we started getting 70 people or more. We were reaching capacity of the room on a Tuesday morning. So I really extend that, success out to Sharon and the other Master Gardeners that were part of her team. She has, she was very essential in our training classes of keeping everything organized for our last Master Gardener training. And when she said she was moving to Humboldt County, Master Gardener coordinators, we love all of our volunteers, but I wanted to cry when Sharon said she was moving, just because of all the wonderful things that she had done for our program. And it didn't take her long to get settled in Humboldt County. And they were actually a county that didn't have a coordinator for their Master Gardener program. She went to the county director and said, I want to create a position and I want you to hire me for this volunteer position. And so now she's actually the volunteer coordinator in Humboldt County. But, which doesn't surprise me at all, just from the amazing person and volunteer that she is.
Thank you so much, Marcy. It's always great to see when people leave a county, since we are county-specific programs, but we're all over the state of California. When you leave one county and you go to the other, joining in and being part of that family in that group right there. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope school for the rest of the day goes well for you guys. And if you want to stay on and maybe join us a little bit later, we're going to be here. I'm going to move you to the background and start introducing our panel. Thank you so much. I removed myself and left Marcy. Marcy, you were just going to have to take over without me. All right. Hey, you guys, if you haven't been watching the comments, there's some pretty funny comments going on, and just some positive things going on in the comments right here. We have Ann Shellman saying, Pat is amazing. Thanks for your help to the UCCE Stanislaus County Master Gardeners, Pat. So there's fun things in the chat going on that you may have missed. We also have love the term plant weirdos, Yolo County Master Gardeners. Yes, we are plant weirdos. We even have some bug people and some other people that are going on like that. We really do enjoy that kind of thing. Joy says, I remember thinking I found my people when I realized my classmates were as interested in bat guano as me. Yeah, I don't know where you find those kind of people, but you find them here, right? So we're very happy to have those people with us. Let me stop sharing my screen and remove. I'm going to add with us into the room, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. And we're going to add Adam and Jillian. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Hi there. Thank you for having us.
We're happy to have you here from your home. And Linda, I'm going to add you in. Linda. Welcome, Linda. And we're going to add Pat in. Now we look like the Brady Bunch. Perfect. So Pat and Linda, I see you guys are muted. You can stay muted if you like. I'm going to ask a general question to all of our panelists. And when you answer the question, could you just let us know what county you're from, just to remind people where you guys are from? That would be great. So there are so many different volunteer opportunities in our local communities and garden clubs. What made you choose the UC Master Gardener program to spend your time with? So any one of you can answer if you'd like, and unmute yourself.
I'll go first.
All right, Linda.
When I retired in 2010, I think I had heard about Master Gardeners and I was interested in it. My teaching career, I had a focus. I taught independent study, but I had a focus on science, and I love gardening. And I like the idea of teaching science-based research to home gardeners. And unlike Steve, who's always there with the shovel, I only have enough shovel in me for my plot that my house is on.
Yeah.
There's no shovel. And I really liked that aspect, that when our foot is on a shovel, it is because we're demonstrating something, not because we're planting the whole garden. Because I can do the demonstration, but I can't do the whole garden. And so I really liked that aspect of it. And I liked the idea, well, I like education. And so I like to be part of something that's an educational thing.
Perfect. Would anyone else like to answer that question on our panel?
For me, I've been very, very happy with all the extra educational programs they do. Like we went to a what was that thing
The
called?
South Coast Research Extension Center. We were able to do an IPM all-day training there, and then we were able to take that back to our communities.
I was there at that training.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that wonderful?
It was
amazing.
great. I loved it too. So for those of you that don't know, the UC Master Gardener Program statewide office teams up with Integrated Pest Management from the University of California and will host all-day programming for UC Master Gardener Program volunteers to learn more about IPM. And it's just a great opportunity and extended education. Thank you for bringing that up, guys. That is a great learning opportunity, and just a great perk of being in the program is continually learning more and more. I do have a question for Debbie. So Debbie, it looks like you're unmuted. It's really clear that you have a lot of passion about gardening. Can you tell us more about some of that behind the scenes work that you do just to keep your program moving and out in the public eye?
Sure, there's a lot of things I do, but primarily I manage the Instagram page for the San Joaquin County Master Gardener Program. And I keep followers up to date on the classes that we're offering weekly. And then I ask them to check the link in our bio so that they can know what's going on for future classes. I post information that'll promote our programs, such as events, presentations, classes, and material that's both inspirational and educational. I address questions by asking lots of questions. Sometimes I think they get irritated with me, but that's the best way to know what it is that's going on with whatever it is that you have the question about, so that I can direct them to the appropriate site. And sometimes that's a seed library, sometimes that's IPM, sometimes that's ANUR. It's all different places. I became a master gardener because I wanted to be in the company of people who are plant people. I wanted to talk about things that I was passionate about and not have them look at me like, oh, here she comes again. You know, she's got a zucchini run.
I roll.
So, yeah. So I really just wanted to be with other people that inspired me to do more gardening and venture outside of my comfort zone. And I want to inspire other people to do the same thing. And I love when a plan comes together and you have a project and you put it together and it becomes something that the community can get involved in, the kids can get involved in, and it just serves everybody. It's just so much. It's just so fun to watch that happen. And I want to see right now during this pandemic, it's obvious that people need that outlet to feel healthy and to have activities that are healthy, and planning and doing the projects, planting and putting it together, and then seeing a garden full of butterflies and bees and thriving fruits and vegetables and flowers. There's just comfort and peace in that right now. And I think there is a little bit of food insecurity, especially with seeds. Seeds were really hard to find back in March and April. And I had seeds that I had, in my presentation box, and I threw them in dirt things and whatever I had. And I gave them away to my neighbors, and I gave them away to my friends and anybody that I could, be close to. I'd put them on the front porch. There's a box on the front porch, come and get them. And I think that was really helpful to a lot of people. It helped them to get out and do something that, got them outside of, their heads, and just that helps me. So I know that it helps other people. And I'm just glad to be able to talk about things that I'm passionate about and not have them look at me like, oh.
And someone wants to listen. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That's great, Debbie. Thank you so much. We have some comments that were coming in of just thank you, and that your suggestions are on spot. So congratulations on your nomination. I'm going to move on to Adam and Jillian. And you guys, you're kind of like being fanned in the comments already. There's people that are like, I want to learn more about the seed saving. So, hey, I'm glad they stayed on. Hopefully they're still here. Could you tell us more about the importance of a seed library in your local community and the work that you guys have done?
Oh, definitely. Right. Especially right now, while a lot of people are staying home, there's nothing more important than being able to have a seed library locally and being able to learn life sciences, like say working with your child, be able to learn life sciences, being able to demonstrate how life works, how the germination of the seed works with the water and the soil, and just seeing how something so tiny can grow into something so massive. It's absolutely wonderful. Being able to work with our local community to where they actually gave us a plot at the community garden where we could demonstrate a micro irrigation system so people can see that it doesn't have to be what everybody thinks, like an entire yard. It could be something much smaller and be just as efficient as
So
as
important. Yeah.
what most people would think. And then the biodiversity is an amazing piece.
Yeah, one thing he mentioned about the community, the Master Gardener program gave us the way to do this. However, it brought our community together. Without the city of Yucaipa, Unity Church, the Oasis Botanical Sanctuary, and Gloria Selda at Green Valley Village Apartments, they have all given so much support in order to do these things. And then we've also had the support of the local community where they are bringing back seeds that they've harvested. We've taught some classes through the seed library, how to collect and harvest seeds, how to germinate tricky seeds, and they're taking this information and actually applying it, bringing seeds back that have been grown in the local area for several years. And we're having seeds that are acclimated to the environment. And that's really important for biodiversity because you don't have the same genetics in each and every seed. You have those different tools in the genetic toolbox. So as climate continues to change, maybe so much % won't do well next year, but you'll still have some of those plants that will thrive later on.
As well as for mental health, just having flowers around the house is an amazing piece for mental health. Just to be able to go out and see every day, have that thing to look forward to, where you have a flower, but it's been there for like a week, but that one day that it opens, suddenly that day is just a different day altogether.
It's always a good surprise. We have someone in the comments who wanted to know what community. Could you guys just establish your location for the people joining us a little bit later again?
We're based in the city of Yucaipa, but we're open to other people. We were doing seeds via our mailbox at one point. We've had to put a pause on that so I can focus on some family right now. Hope to reopen that, but we actually, because of the whole COVID thing, a friend of mine had messaged me one day saying, my daughter is really depressed. She can't go to school. Can I have a few seeds and flower pots and some soil? And I said, oh my God, there's a need there. We need to help people. And that's how Seeds of Yucaipa was created. And then we started doing a social distancing format where you can request seeds on the Facebook group, because we had to shut the seed library down initially. But then people were saying if they wanted seeds, and then we would set it up times they could come and pick it up at the curb or in the mailbox. And it just was I've gotten so many letters and comments from people that it gave them something to do. It gave them some hope, because there's a quote, if you plant a seed, that means that you believe in tomorrow. So that is what part of inspired the Seeds of Yucaipa group.
That's amazing. Your smile says it all. Like the more you talk about it, like the bigger your smile got. And I can just feel that. I love that kind of feeling, especially during the pandemic. You mentioned that, changing and moving things through COVID it's just a different navigation, and some activities have stopped while others have had to change and adapt. So we really do appreciate you changing and adapting what you guys are doing down in San Bernardino County, and especially with your local community of Yucaipa. So seed saving, seed libraries, amazing. Thank you for your guys' work. I am going to move on to Pat. So Pat, I see that you're muted. If you could unmute yourself, I'd love to get your feedback on this. Pat, so Marcy just shared with us that that you're like an excellent organizer. So I'm not going to ask you to help organize my closet, but I'm sure I need it. With your organizational skills and your leadership, can you just tell us like a little bit more about the highlight of your volunteer experience in San Joaquin County? Oh no!
I have a
Pat,
couple ideas, and when they were talking about seed savers.
Go ahead. I think there's just a slight delay, Pat.
Okay, is this better?
I think so. I'm just going to let you talk and
No.
not interrupt you. Go for it.
Okay. When they were talking about seed savers, I had a couple of ideas, and one, I'm a retired librarian, and I had heard that some people had repurposed card catalogs. You remember card catalogs? I mean, the older generation remembers card catalogs. The kids don't know what you're talking about. But that was a great way to organize your seed packets into categories and then into the actual piece of furniture. I have like 3 banks of those drawers that I salvaged from something that was being thrown out. And so that was one idea that I had. And the second one is I have something called a little free library. I actually have 2 because I had so many books in the one that I got another one for a kid's annex. And that would be a perfect place to put seeds for the community. And I don't see the people coming and going. I know they're visiting the library because books come and go. And I was just talking to my neighbor across the street yesterday, and she said, "Oh, I see a lot of kids coming. People actually drive up to it and stop by and look through there." But I think I might do that. I have packets of seeds that I'm not going to be using. I might start with that. As someone who retired as a classroom teacher and a librarian, when I retired, when my husband and I decided to move from the San Francisco Bay Area, from the peninsula, to the San Joaquin Valley, because we were able to buy a new home and start fresh, putting in our own garden, and so we started to do that. We had a few basic things that were included as part of the pool package, but then I kept thinking, oh, there's an empty space here, and I'd see something pretty at the nursery, and I'd bring it home and I'd plant it there, and then I'd find something else that I thought was cool, and because I'm from Hawaii, I kept trying to grow tropical plants, and then they do okay for the season, and then they die in the winter. And there's so many things that I was doing wrong. And I started to, my husband and I started to go to some Master Gardener workshops. And those workshops were kind of life-changing, because then that got me interested in actually participating in the training. And so what I learned from that is I have a lot of wrong plants in the wrong places. And so I'm trying to undo now what I did before. And we're talking about COVID. The one of the things that projects is the raised beds that we put in, made out of wood, 12 years ago, had all rotted, and then some were built too close to the house, and now we need to have the house painted. So during these last few months, we've taken out all those rotted boards, and we happened to come across some galvanized tubs at Home Depot. So we redid our whole not all of it, but it took out 6 beds and redid them so that they're much more sustainable for the rest of my life, because I'm not going to be able to redo this again. This has got to be more long lasting. But in terms of what the highlight of my work with Master Gardeners is that, even though that was not my intention initially, the network of people and the new friends we've made since we moved away from the people that we'd known for 30 years and had moved to a whole new community in the San Joaquin Valley, there was here's this new community that I found in the Master Gardener program, and in doing these various projects, really getting to know a lot of people. But I think probably the highlight of working in addition to the new friends is working with Marcy, because Marcy's really as our coordinator is not. I mean, she's strict on some things, but she's very open to new ideas, and I think that's what you need. You need someone with the ability to be flexible and to be open to new things. And some things we tried and didn't pan out, but a lot of things that we tried were successful, and I think that's because of our outstanding leadership. And she just lets us try new things, and it is something that I really have appreciated, because we've been able to do that. But not just the learning things and the gardening things, but also the fun things. We do a luau to celebrate our new trainees at the end of the training. We have a luau celebration, and that's just fun, and that just helps with the camaraderie and this feeling of community, and I'm really helpful for that.
Thank you, Pat. Pat, I'm going to have to cut you off. We're running out of time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for your comments on community, and the strong leadership we have from all of our coordinators is really what our groups need, and it helps keep us moving, just like all of you are leaders and movers and shakers in your own little groups. I would like to move on to Linda. And for those of you that didn't know, Pat was from San Joaquin County, and we have Linda from San Joaquin County as well. And Linda, my question for you is, can you explain the work you do with the Master Gardener volunteers who are getting ready to give presentations to the public?
Well, Marcy talked about it a lot while she was giving her bit. One of the things that I know is that for most people in the world, the thought of standing in front of a group of people and talking is right up there with the fear of death. And so the first piece I do is to try to convince people that they're not going to die if they take on a presentation role. And so finding people who are willing is the first step. And once you get those people who are willing, some of them have experience from their work careers and stuff like that, but it's really important to remember the audience. And so when I work with somebody, I talk to them about, who are you presenting to? One of my friends who is a really good presenter, she'd done it a lot in her work, but she was always presenting to council members or, that kind of thing. And so it was a very stiff and formal kind of thing. And I'm like, you're talking to gardeners, you're talking to homeowners, you're talking, you're not talking to the boss, you're talking to these people. And so you have to remember who you're talking to and make sure that you speak in terms that regular people can understand. Just like the acronyms you talked about, jargon excludes. It doesn't include. If you don't know the jargon, you're excluded. So you have to be able to speak and talk in a way that people can hear what you're saying and understand it. A lot of people think that you can just walk in and do it, and it depends on who you are and how much experience you have. I think probably at this point in my life, I could tap dance for an hour on just about anything. But that's not how I want to do it, but I can do it. Lee can walk in and tap dance. He's not even tap dancing. He's just dancing, about almost any topic and do a really good job. But that being said, if I make the PowerPoint myself, if I plan the thing and it's mine, by the time I get to the presentation place, I've been over it a lot and I know my material and I know what I'm going to do. If I'm using a PowerPoint we have a bank of PowerPoints on all kinds of topics, that sometimes you can use it just straight as it is, or sometimes you modify it a little bit. But if I'm using one that I didn't create, I go over that thing at least 20 times. And I tell that to people. I wouldn't stand there. I wouldn't take on a presentation unless I had time to practice so that I knew what was coming up, and it's a fair bet that everybody in your audience can read, which means that you don't stand there and read a PowerPoint because that's really boring. So that PowerPoint is to remind you of the extras, the things that you're going to personalize it with, the extra stories you're going to tell that bring home the point. And being a teacher, Yeah, okay. In teacher language, we have a word called realia. And realia is show and tell. It's what do you bring that shows this thing that you're going to be talking about? And it makes all the difference in the world about how interesting it is, how much the understanding grows. And so those are important things to do it. And let's see, my philosophy is you can't have too many pictures in a PowerPoint. And that PowerPoint slide should not be on the screen for more than about a half a minute. Because if it's up there too long, I mean, if you're going to talk for 5 minutes with the same PowerPoint screen behind you, you're talking way too long and you didn't do enough to get enough illustrations of what you're talking about up there. And so going over that, but taking the time to let somebody go through their whole presentation and then give them the feedback about what made sense, what didn't, and maybe how you could change it really helps. And before COVID came along, I had a spreadsheet. And between master gardeners and master food preservers, which I also am, because sometimes we do joint presentations, I think we had 90 presentations lined up for this year, and had presenters lined up for almost all of them when COVID said, no, you're not going to do that this time. And so that was a major milestone, and I'm ready to get back in there. But anyway.
Linda, that's a perfect segue into our next question. Thank you for your comments. Online learning and just going online, COVID has done a lot to change what we're doing. Adam and Jillian talked about it. Debbie kind of talked about it. Pat had mentioned it. Linda, you mentioned it. This is a question for all of our panelists. COVID has happened, right? We all went to shelter in place. We canceled events. We changed our seed library. What positives can you pull out of this recent pandemic that have impacted your volunteer experience with the UC Master Gardener program? Is there a positive that you could share that you've seen in the public and the community that you'd like to share with us?
I think it's been a great opportunity, and I think we will continue to step up and serve that opportunity. People being at home, there's been a huge increase in people interested in gardening and doing stuff at home and raising their own food. And so for both programs, Master Food Preservers too, it's an opportunity to give people the information of how to take care of all that stuff that they grew. And I got the opportunity to learn how to make a video. I have never made a video before, but with the help of my grandson, who is really good, I made 4 YouTube videos. And then I ask people when they watch it, tell me who that old lady is cooking in my kitchen. But anyway, so that's my opportunity.
We're all learning and growing in this. Does anyone else would like to answer that question?
I've just seen more people want to help more. Even people who aren't master gardeners have offered to deliver seeds to people who couldn't pick them up. Awesome. There were people who volunteered to be admins of Seeds of Yucaipa. And though we haven't done the seed program for a little bit, we hope to start that again shortly. There's opportunity for people to ask questions there. And just there's more of an interest in the gardening as well, because some people have more time on their hands.
Yeah.
Seems like more people want to still be a community, not just, and thank goodness for social media, which usually people think kind of takes you away from community. It still allows us to be a community. So
yeah,
it's kind of neat.
It really does.
And I think it gave people more time to pay attention to their surroundings and to want to be in a place that is beautiful and serene and peaceful rather than have it be concrete jungle. They want to grow something and be a part of that. So I think that's definitely come from COVID.
Yeah,
time.
And whether you're planting directly in the soil or in a pot on your porch, like I said, you're a gardener, surrounding yourself with 20,000 houseplants that you know nothing about. You're still a gardener. It's just a beautiful thing to be a part of. And thank you for being on our panel today and being nominated for Gardeners with Heart. It's volunteers like you that bring the life into this program and the life to the public and education and knowledge, just being speakers, being willing to talk to people about something that you love so much and willing to teach each other. Adam and Jillian, by the way, I'm really starting to try and learn how to save some of my seeds, which I've never done before. So that's a new thing for me that came out of COVID. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm really inspired by all of you and all of our volunteers. With that being said, I would like to transition to our special treat where you will all get to see our 52 nominees for the Gardeners with Heart. I'm going to go ahead and add to stream our video. The video is 27 minutes. I'm going to have it dropped in the link or the chat for you if you'd like to go view it yourself on YouTube. You can view it there at your leisure, or it's also debuting live on Facebook. It's on Facebook right now as a video for people to watch. But I would like to close this out by just saying thank you to all of our volunteers nominated for Gardeners with Heart. A special thank you to our nominees that came here today and sat on a live stream with me for the first time. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to do my awkward double hand wave to you. Thank you. I like it. I like it so much. I'm going to share my full screen with everyone, and I'm going to play. Oh, you know what? I don't think I should do that. I think I should remove, and then I'm going to stop and then share my screen and do my audio, you guys. You guys want to hear this, right? And see it. That would be fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, now I'm ready. Look at me. Living the dream.
We love our UC Master Gardener volunteers. These folks make incredible impacts in their local communities. They're helping people with food gardening, sustainable landscaping, and general community well-being. They support our mission to extend research-based information on home horticulture to the people of California. The Gardeners with Heart that you'll see in the next couple of slides are folks who are nominated for the amazing impact that they're making. These people have been in our program from 1 year all the way up to almost 40. We're so pleased to be able to share these folks with you today and talk about the amazing impact that they're making in their local communities. Many thanks to all of our Gardeners with Heart.